All right, we are live. We have myself, Jack Max, about to hop on in a second. We got Lee from Clemson joining the show. UFC Sao Paulo this week. We'll break down the card. I feel like real quick, since we didn't do one earlier, I think the only thing we really probably need to touch on just real quick is probably the Francis fight before we get into the breakdown.
And then, has anything else really happened?
I don't think anything really crazy happened other than
those
that.
numbers came out.
Yeah, I guess the numbers were bad, but I guess before that, anything. I mean, I'll admit I haven't got to watch the full fight. I was working, I was on the road. I didn't get to really watch it at all. I've got to see just like highlights now. So obviously, everyone's seen the knockdown. I got to see kind of like the knock. I basically got to watch like the fast forwarded version of the fight, like just like the big moments essentially. I mean, and also just taking word from everyone who's watched it. I mean, good for Francis.
Yeah, I mean, like what a moment. I don't even think the pay-per-view buys really matter. It's kind of how we as a society take in media and clips and whatnot and social. Obviously, that's not how you run a business, but for Saudi Arabia and whatnot, they don't really care. They just want good press for Saudi. They had a bunch of celebrities there. They had a bunch of top. I mean, it felt like every top fighter of all time was there.
Yeah, they basically had the best 95% of the best boxers and MMA fighters ever. Essentially,
yeah.
That one picture of them all on the steps or whatever was insane.
Yeah, no, it was
it was like combat sports, literally royalty.
And
the who's who of just combat sports over the last 60, 50 years was there. And I agree with you. The pay-per-views for this did not matter. He made a huge flat rate like Francis. They both obviously Fury did as well. They both made a huge flat rate price. And now the Francis doing so well. I mean, the next pay-per-view I think is now going to do well because I think the reason it didn't do well in the first place was one, it was in the middle of the day on a college football Saturday in America.
Yep.
And two, just no one thought he was going to do well. I remember even me, and it was right before we finished the live show. I was just in Wisconsin. We went back in the bus, and we were going to the game. I had to film a video there. Dave was kind of deciding if he was going to go to the game or not, and there was a little bit of time between. And he was pretty much like, "Oh, am I going to buy this fight?" And he was like, "I'm definitely going to buy it." He's like, "I'm going to buy it, but it's going to be stupid." He haven't asked me what I thought. I was like, "I think Fury's going to kind of just play with him." That was my I thought it was going to go. I thought it was going to go a little bit deep in the fight because I thought Fury was going to give people his money worth. He was going to kind of just feel him out early and then maybe just kind of almost kind of what Floyd did a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But I honestly thought Conor was going to do better than Francis did, and that Francis did incredible. So, I mean, credit to him. And I think whether he fights Fury again or he fights Wilder or he fights Joshua, whoever the fight is, I think those are the three best options. And I think that one of those will happen.
Will be interesting.
Maybe two of those will happen. Who knows? Maybe they'll fight all three. I mean, he did so well. I mean, even some of the stuff I was watching some footage of, even just in the clinch, you could see Fury was so. There was one moment where he kind of wrestled him around a little bit. And he was at the moment where Fury was holy shit, he's so strong.
Yeah.
So much stronger than I think, even not just his boxing, just physically. It was so much stronger than he anticipated. So, I mean, good for him. He's going to get even bigger bag the next time. I hope we see him MMA at some point. I don't think we'll ever see the John Jones fight. People are talking about that now.
We'll never see it.
Maybe this will make that happen. Dana kind of gave him – I didn't see the actual footage of the clip. I saw the quote. And it seemed like Dana was giving him props. Basically just saying, I can't believe he actually went 10 rounds with him.
Yeah. No, I mean, I thought a lot of people – I thought he was going to not go 10 rounds. I thought his cardio was going to fade. It didn't. It'll be interesting to see. I mean, I don't know his exact contract with PFL, but I would assume he probably has to fight MMA at some point.
I think it is that he has to – he's at least signed to PFL. Then it's not like he has to fight within a certain time period, but he does have to fight MMA specifically at some point under PFL.
Got it. So he PFL essentially owns his MMA rights.
Yeah, exactly. And then loans him out for boxing.
Got it. And I wouldn't be surprised if the PFL sees a value in just if boxing brings them more of a, even though it sounds backwards, but it may be if boxing brings him more press for the PFL, they may be all right, that's better than fighting Ant Delija or Ferreira or whoever.
Yeah, I think Don Davis kind of even said it, and I think you can just tell by the way they're promoting it, PFL's promoting it. Don Davis, I'm pretty sure, went on Ariel recently that was kind of talking about it at post fight, where him just like doing this well in boxing is just a win for the company. Just that he's like just a part of PFL.
Yep.
Him just showing that well against. I mean, there's no debate. He's the bad. They have the baddest man on the planet on their roster.
Yeah.
Like now they're like no one is. The fact that he went out there and did what he did to Tyson Fury, I don't care if he was like well prepared, not prepared, does not matter. When you drop him like bad, and then also even the one clip I saw that was so impressive to me was, although I got to watch because it was pretty action packed the 8th round. I mean, he was pushing the pace on Fury in the 8th round. Like you said, he never really like wilted like cardio wise.
Yeah.
He was there the whole time. I mean, a lot of people even thought he won. Like, a lot of people thought he was a bad decision. I've seen from what I've seen, it's been pretty split, which is I guess fair. It was a split decision. That's fair. The only thing is the one scorecard was like 96-93 Fury. People were like, "That's crazy. How could it be that score when he literally got knocked down?"
Also, I mean, it was so funny. Fury threw an elbow, and Ngannou he's such an MMA fighter. It didn't even phase him. Like if somebody threw an elbow like that in a regular boxing, I think people would be like, "Oh my god." He just kept moving forward. It was because, I mean, how many elbows has we just lost Lee? But we are bad. I would love to see him against John, but it's so funny. I saw a tweet. I think it was from a guy called Technical Tim on Twitter. We are so like Cyril Gane had him almost dead to not dead, but if Cyril Gane doesn't get flipped, if Cyril Gane doesn't get flipped in the 2nd or in the 5th round, when he tried to go for a leg takedown, I think Cyril Gane wins that fight. And then where is Ngannou? It's a very interesting what if.
He's at work and getting the lead back right now. I say what we're doing. Yeah, so really on that, I mean, that was pretty much the thing. We got the lead back. The other thing I can announce is going to Shanghai. It seems like pretty much all the obviously the main card, but I'm seeing pretty much all the finals. What's your road to UFC? Is it that's they called it, and all the finals.
Yeah, that should be exciting. There's been some good guys that have come from Nakamura, who I think's won twice now in the UFC. We saw the last road to the UFC inside, or the finals inside, I think the Apex. So it'd be cool that it's in Shanghai. Audio's.
It's fine now. It got back.
Good?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay.
Appreciate you, Quilly.
Sorry. Yeah, thank you. Sorry, guys. Good one card tonight. Yes, there is. I also... Did you see some of the... Lee was tweeting them out, some of the numbers from McGregor, Habib, Ronda Rousey.
Oh, yes.
It is crazy.
Their payments, correct?
Payments, yeah. It is crazy how McGregor, and maybe we do talk about, DC talked about it, I think you bring it up.
Yeah, them get like, that Dana gives extra money kind of thing without... Pettis talked about it too. Pettis said it was after the DC thing because he was in person with Ariel. And Pettis said he got $1 million bonus for every title fight he had, win or loss. And then he also pretty much like every fight got extra. Like every fight that was like every fight he was in are pretty like good fights. So he pretty much said every fight he was in, he got like extra money.
And then from the perspective of looking at McGregor, he got paid, I think we didn't see how much he got paid for Habib. I'm sure that was a crazy amount of money, but $6 million for, I think, the Mendez fight. Was that it, Lee?
The Alvarez.
So was that his flat rate, or they're saying his total, or like what? That was the one question I wanted to ask.
I think it was the total,
like flat rate plus pay-per-view.
Yes, that's I believe it. I believe it was flat rate and pay-per-view, and then not counting any like bonuses on top.
Okay, fair. That even I don't know. Is that weird that it seems a little low for Alvarez?
Well, I was about to
for the Alvarez fight. I mean,
on top of it, we saw. Lee's also frozen. We saw McGregor. I mean, it seems as if he made 9 figures against Mayweather.
That was right after that, though.
Yeah,
because I thought he would have made. I mean, for the Khabib fight, he had to have made like. I thought I've heard numbers around like 30. I don't know if that's true or not.
Yeah, I was gonna guess like 15 to 20. I mean, whatever. I mean, we know the pay structure will always be a debate. There's numbers. We finally see how much money the UFC is making now that they're technically public with TKO underneath. What's the company called?
I think it is TKO. I thought
It's called TKO now, but what was it? What was it before?
I don't know.
Anyways, those numbers came out. Lee tweeted those numbers out as well, and we saw from those numbers how much they're making from a quarterly basis, and it's a lot of money. So a lot of people say, oh, they need more money and whatnot for the fighters. WWE makes more than UFC. I'm not surprised by that. Not for long though. I agree with that too, Vince. But people forget how worldwide the WWE is. It's like just so massive. And the merchandise is just so huge for WWE. But UFC makes a lot. It'll be interesting to see how if they ever have to change fighter pay, whatnot. It seems like they're kind of around a 10 to 15%. That's how much the fighters get. And then and then in the NFL, NBA, the players get around 49 to 50%. But I know it's different. So this is not something I'm an expert on. But we'll bring Lee back in and we'll get to the card. Before we do that, just want to say shout out to Monaco for sponsoring the show. As always, Monaco, we got them right in front of us. The Kentucky coffee looks amazing this morning. We got 2 shots in almost every can. The Tropical Rush. We got the Watermelon Classic Margarita, double vodka. We also have the hard lemonade. It is the drink, the seltzer, official seltzer of the UFC, I'm pretty sure. You'll see them in the cage this weekend, or maybe not because it's in Brazil, but definitely next weekend in the Octagon for UFC 295 at MSG. So shout out to Monaco, always sponsoring the show.
So we'll get Lee back in. We'll get right into the card. I like the card. It's one of those. I think it's sneaky where I was a little bummed out about the. I was a little bummed out about the I thought he'd be. I would love to made a fight like someone with like real grappling credentials, but we'll get into that one last. So the
first fight is
I have the worst fight ever. I apologize.
It's all right.
Oh yeah, and we have quite a few fighters that missed weight like significantly.
Really?
I saw as well, not like a pound, like 3-4 pounds. Yeah, Bonfim was over by I want to say 4 pounds.
Which Bonfim?
Ismail.
Yeah, Ismail. I think Mora, who's the second fight, I think she was over by I want to say 4 pounds as well. 3.5 pounds.
Hugo was over 2.5.
Yeah, and Hugo was over, but I think it was 2.5 pounds as well. So we already had 3 guys that were like over enough weight that no way they're going to be able to cut the weight.
And Pichel just missed by 1 too.
Who did?
Pichel.
Wow, something's going on. Did we have? I'm trying to remember the last. Well, they haven't been in Brazil in a while, I guess. But
they were in January.
That's
Jamal Hill.
I was saying that's right. The pay per view. That's right. They were.
That was.
I think there were some misses there too. This is Lee's got to get better Wi-Fi. Oh, there we go. You back, Lee?
I'm back.
We'll get into obviously the first fight of the night. We got Mark Diakase versus Cal Fernandez. Obviously, Fernandez making his debut.
Yep.
Right? I like Diakase's up to almost getting close to -200.
Interesting that he's got that far up.
185, 190. I think it makes sense with the experience gap.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy he's been in the UFC forever. I mean, he's a solid fighter. He's 500-ish. He's fought a lot of good guys. He's beaten some good guys. He's lost Fazeev and some guys like that. But I feel pretty good about him here. I mean, I don't like Fernandez. He's a solid striker. From what I've seen, he doesn't have great cardio. It's kind of a lot of his wins are early. Diakase should have grappling edge. And he's a solid striker too. I feel pretty confident in Diakase to get it done here, unless he just gets clipped or something. But I mean, I don't think he got submitted by Alvarez, but I don't think he's been knocked out really in the UFC. I think he's just been submitted.
Well, didn't Alvarez, wasn't it an inadvertent knee or headbutt or something?
I think he did. I think there was a questionable in there, but I know
that's what it was.
The win,
yeah, there was like a weird headbutt, and then Alvarez submitted.
And they submitted him. Yeah, Alvarez is very good though. Like I don't really hold that against him. I think Alvarez is really good. He's huge too for the division. But I mean, I feel pretty good about Diakase. Like even straight parlay piece.
Yeah, I don't feel. I don't know if I can lay upwards of -200 on Diakase. That being said, I mean, I wish I got the line a little bit earlier in the week. I think maybe him late, round 2, round 3. Obviously, a decision would be very good. But it does feel as if Fernandez has questionable cardio. We've seen him kind of gas. He is kind of a boomer bust early. He kind of throws up submissions from the bottom, but I guess he also isn't great on his back. So we'll see. I could just see Diakase just like finding a way to lose. How about you, Lee?
I took Diakase at -130 earlier in the week when the line was dropping. I like it. He's not one of those guys like UFC guys that like you bet against a contender series guy. That's my main point. I thought -130 was fair. I thought like he's closer to like -160, -170. I think the price is a little too high now to bet, but he's a good. I think he should win regardless.
Yeah, I agree. So next we have Eduardo Mora, who we just talked about, has missed weight by a few pounds, versus Montserrat Conejo Ruiz. I'll probably stay away from this fight. I mean, I think Mora should win, just pure just size and just like pure kind of like Mauler, I think. But
Ruiz,
I think it's just one of those where classically just like women's MMA, where like I'm not gonna. Obviously, I'm not gonna lay -650 on her money line. I don't even really feel that good about a parlay, to be honest. Like I think she should win, but not like. I mean, I'm not laying that. I'm not parlaying it, but I do think she is -600 for a reason. I think she should.
Ruiz is one tough motherfucker. I don't know. Last fight we saw her against Amorim, right? And that was the fight that she found a sub late, or maybe it was a TKO late. We were in the chat just screaming, how can you not finish her? How can you not finish her? How can you not finish her? And then she eventually found the finish really late. I was almost sick to my stomach. I remember it specifically.
Yes, I recall now.
Yeah. Ruiz or Mora is friends with Almeida. I think Almeida after his last fight was like, bring her to UFC in Brazil. So she's probably on all the juice like Almeida. She should find the finish, I think. I mean, here's the thing. Against a tough girl, she's also... This is her UFC debut. I don't know if I want to lay -150 wins inside the distance, though. So I think I'll probably just stay away with you there. How about you, Lee?
Yeah. Hell no, you can't lay like minus money on a contender series debut to win inside the distance. Hell no. I took Mora earlier in the week at last week with last week's cards at -350, 380 range, and I was good at that price. Never at -600.
That's so huge.
Yeah, I think it's way too much on Mora, even though Conejo's bad, especially with the weight cut now. I would never parlay her now with the weight cut.
Yeah, that's a good point. And Ruiz is a tough, I mean, she's just tough, and she has those neck tattoos. I mean, she's out of her mind. So I mean, I'm staying away. I think you're right, Lee. If I could get -350 right now, I'd love her in a parlay, but all the way up to -6. That's serious.
Yeah, no, I'm not laying that for sure. I agree. Next fight, one of the more interesting ones on the card, I think, especially early on, Angela Hill versus Denise Gomez. Gomez is around -135 range. Angela Hill come back around +110, +115. Really interesting fight.
I know.
Angela Hill's 38. Gomez is 23. I mean, you had the savvy vet who's fought everybody, the split decision queen.
The split decision, yeah.
Versus Gomez, who we've seen maul some people also coming off a loss, or they have one common opponent. I'm drawing a blank on who Gomez. It was who she lost to.
Loma.
Angela Hill beat her.
Is it Yasmin?
Loma. Luke Boone.
Loma.
Yes, that's who it is, Loma. So I obviously MMA math doesn't always line up. That's just something I was thinking about, like kind of just capping the fight. It's tough because I just Vince, I just feel like we have a split decision coming here. So Angela Hill just like Gomez can be like a savage. I mean, but Hill doesn't really get finished.
She did get hurt. I mean, the thing here is she did get hurt by Mackenzie Dern her last fight.
She did. That's true.
And
that's true.
Gomez, like,
But
legitimately.
Dern's good, though.
I know. I like Dern, too. Gomez throws bombs. Is it possible we could see an early round one finish? I wouldn't be shocked. I kind of like Gomez by KO. I don't love it. I do see the perspective of betting Hill, especially as underdog price, savvy veteran. She's gonna bring it. We know her fight IQ is usually pretty high. But yeah, so Lee, what's your thoughts on this fight?
Yeah, I bet Hill plus 120 earlier. I like the veteran here. I bet, this is kind of crazy to say, but I bet Angela Hill against Mackenzie Dern. Stupid bet of all time. Really bad. But I think that she has enough to counter Gomes' one-dimensional game plan. I think Angela Hill has better takedowns. I think she has better wrestling, better jiu-jitsu. I think Gomes really has the right hand, and that's it. And I'm a Gomes believer. I bet on her against Urigi and against Bruna Brazil. So I'm 2-0 on betting her. So I didn't really want to bet against her this time. I just thought Angela Hill should be the favorite here, like slight favorite, like minus 120. I just think the line should be flipped. That's really it.
Yeah, I kind of tend to agree. I kind of agree with you, Lee. I'm not totally sure if I'm gonna bet or not yet, but I do like because this line kind of went down where it went to almost a pick 'em and then kind of back up a little bit with Angela Hill being the dog. But I agree with you. I just think she's more well rounded. Gomez, but I do also kind of agree with Jack where I think like if Gomez, I think Gomez doing it would either be I see it two ways. Either she like lands something really big early, like something crazy, or she just has like a big first round and then kind of is able to like win a classic Angela Hill lose a split decision where she where she comes on late, but just a little bit too late. But yeah, I'll for the sake of picking, I'll pick Hill. Next fight we have Vitor Petrino versus Modestas Bukauskas. Petrino minus 250, the Brazilian. This is probably a stay away, probably like a dog or pass for me here. Just personally, I'm not even really crazy about Bukauskas. Since he's been back in the UFC, he's looked definitely a lot better than his first time around. Petrino's interesting though. He throws big bombs, and he has showed he can wrestle some. He does have some grappling.
And he can take a few punches
for sure. But I just don't want to lay the 250 on him because I think Bukauskas has looked a lot better. But probably a stay away for me. But what do you guys think? Go ahead, Jack.
I am thinking a little bit about adding Petrino to a parlay. I do think he has the durability and the cardio and the wrestling and all that to be okay here. That being said, I do think the line may be a bit inflated. How about you, Lee?
Yeah, I'm the same way. I think Petrino does well against people that don't throw a lot because he can just throw bombs and then really not be expected. Like he's only getting like pot shots back, like just like one and out. But I think he has the wrestling advantage. I think he has the jiu-jitsu advantage. But really, Petrino's power is the difference here. I think Petrino should knock him out.
Yeah,
Bukauskas doesn't have a good chin.
That's how I see the fight going in my head.
I kind of like over though. Like if this is going to be like one shot and out for like each of them, and it's like the over's like plus 135, I think. Like fight goes the distance is like plus 160, plus 170 ish. I think I'd rather play that than like Petrino money line or Petrino inside the distance on the side.
Yeah, and we've seen Petrino. There was kind of this thought that he was just a guy who would go in there, and if he doesn't get the big shot, he would his cardio would just go to zero. But we've seen him in 3-round fights. We've seen him look good in round 3. He definitely may be on a little bit of the juice, but I think Petrino's impressed me so far. So that's why I'm kind of looking at him like, all right, I think he should be in a decent spot here.
Yeah, his cardio has probably been a little bit better than people probably would have.
Because we see that huge,
big frame
muscles, and then it was against the the Swedish guy. What's his name? I
The,
remember.
the Polish,
Yeah.
Polish Praknio.
Yeah. No, Praknio too. But then who was his first fight against?
Was it Turko
Anton Turkali.
Yeah.
What's his nickname? What's Turk's
Pleasure
name?
Man?
Oh,
Right?
Pleasure Man. Yeah.
Pleasure Man. I remember I was very impressed with his cardio late in that fight. So I actually like Petrino as not. I don't think he'll. Maybe he could sneak in the top 15 one day. I don't know if he's better than that, but he's not bad.
Yeah, it's fair. Next fight, another one of the weight misses. We have Daniel Marcos versus Victor Hugo. Hugo is who missed weight by a few pounds. Marcos is minus 250. Hugo plus 205. Hugo fought on the Canadian series kind of recently. He fought one of the last weeks, I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly. This is another one where I'm not like super opinionated by it. Like I did like the way Hugo looked in his fight in the Contender Series, but I don't know if I want to bet him against an undefeated guy. Like he is very experienced, 24-4. Marcos is undefeated.
Well, Marcos should not be undefeated, right, Lee?
I'm
Davey Grant.
That's who the fuck it was. I bet Davey Grant too.
It was
that was bullshit.
It was Lee's
fucking bullshit.
It was Lee's play of the year. Not actually, but you were big on.
No, and he was fucking right.
I wanted to bet Davey Grant like my max bet. Like I wanted to because I thought the line made no sense to me, and it proved that I was right. So like I'm in a conundrum now because I still feel like I should have max bet it, and I still should have gotten all the money for it. But I'm glad I didn't in hindsight. But like Daniel Marcos did not win that fight at all. Like he didn't land a head strike until 7 minutes.
Yeah, he just danced around.
It was bullshit. Fucking bullshit.
Especially in England.
Yeah,
especially in England.
Yeah, rightly.
This is crazy. Okay. This fight, Hugo's coming in on short notice. We were supposed to get Daniel Santos versus Marcos. Right. That would have been a really good fight. Hugo, I think, has the jiu-jitsu advantage. I think Marcos has solid takedown defense, though. Simon Oliveira couldn't really get to him, and he got straight up when he did get down. Hugo's a much better grappler, though, and better cardio in my mind. Marcos should piece him up. He was fucking like. The thing is against Davey Grant that like he did land damage to Davey Grant more than
the fucking
Davey
cut.
Grant.
Yeah, that was the cut. He literally he got the decision because of one fucking cut that just kept. It was the same cut, like it was maybe the second round he caught him with it, and he just was leaking the whole fight, and that was why that. Yeah,
he did bust his nose pretty badly, but
he did.
But I agree, Ev. Yes, it 100 to the cut, 100% made that fight. But I think the line's about right here. I got nothing for this. I think Marcos late, like round 3 plus 1,000. It's not a bad shot.
I don't hate that.
Yep.
I agree with you, Lee. I think he definitely should be better on the feet. I would, if I gun to my head, if I had to bet it, I would bet Marcos for sure. Next fight, we have actually I'm very excited for this one. We have Renat
Fakhretdimov.
Yeah, Fakhretdimov versus EZS. Zaleski dos Santos. Actually, Renat's other thing I'm looking at, the line switch. Renat is a minus 385 favorite. Easy Diaz come back at plus 290. I think Renat's the real fucking deal.
Yeah.
I think he's a fucking beast. I almost agree with Vince Stice. I think he almost kind of wins how he wants to here. And Easy S is good. Like, he's a good fighter. But I just think Renat is, like, I would not be shocked if this guy's in the top, like, 10-5, some top 10, top 5 sooner than later. I think this should be the fight that he gets a ranked guy if he gets a big win here. I mean, even Kevin Lee, who, like, hasn't looked as what he did to Kevin Lee was insane. What he's done to pretty much, he was able to just, like, grapple fuck the shit out of Brian Battle, who on the show over and over again, I'm higher on him than most people. He's beaten everybody that he's fought in the UFC besides Renat. I think Renat's really good. Yeah, Renat by finish here. I haven't looked at that line, the finish line, but I mean he's a huge favorite. I'm sure it's even juice, but Renat parlay piece. Feel confident, and I just think he's a fucking stud.
Yeah, do you have any belief in Dos Santos, Lee? I know there's been a little bit of love out there for him this week. I don't hate Renat as a parlay piece, but I do have, I don't know why, a little bit of hesitation.
I don't hate Dos Santos in the way that you usually talk about fighters going against like these stud like Russian guys. I do think he's like has the tools to beat Renat, but I think Renat is better than a lot of people think he is. I'm higher on him than most. I legitimately think he's a top 5 guy. I parlayed him with like all the 294 stuff, so I got like 5 units on him at like around like evens for this fight after the parlays. So I feel solid about him. Like the way that he gets takedowns is like a wrestling guy. He's able to collapse his hands and get to the like behind the butt like really easily, and that made the difference for me, like whether I want to bet Dos Santos or not. The way that he gets to his takedowns is so solid, and it's better than most.
Yeah, I what Ev said, I completely agree with. Even though Kevin Lee was definitely not the Kevin Lee that we've seen in past years, he just ran through him.
I mean, he dropped him and then put him to sleep in like 30 some seconds.
And I know,
insane.
And I know that it's not the Kevin Lee that we all think of Kevin Lee, but still, you still have to. It's almost like destroying a in-conference team that's pretty good, a bowl team, by 50 points. It's like you have to give them some credit.
Just ran through him.
Yeah.
Dropped him and then choked him to sleep. Pretty much instantly.
And so, yeah, I think Renat. I mean, I agree with you guys. I think Renat's and he's not I know it's kind of a stereotype of these Russian guys, these boring wrestlers and whatnot. He's almost kind of Habib in the way where he takes you down and goes for the finish right away.
Yep. Our next fight, I think we could have a banger on our hands here. A little Brazil in Brazil. Elvis Brenner versus Kainan Krzyzewski.
Late, short notice replacement.
It was supposed to be fucking
Ribovic.
It's gonna be a banger. That's right. It's the Argentine.
I wanted to see that one bad.
They're both just violence. Brenner had the insane performance against Guram.
That was unbelievable.
I've been a big Guram guy. That was incredible. I mean, just hurt him and then just go finish him the way he did was super.
He made Guram quit with 2 minutes left.
Folded him. Absolutely just crippled him. Incredible performance. Just the short notice aspect here, I would take Brenner, but this is one of those for me. I think probably not going to bet it and just enjoy as a fan because I think we're going to see just pure violence.
Yeah, this one should be crazy, which will be great. I agree with you. I don't love the short notice aspect. I think the line's at minus 170 or so right now.
I'm sorry, I should have said the one I'm seeing right now is around like 200. But
okay,
Krzyzewski plus 170, but I could have moved a little bit.
And so I don't know a lot about Krzyzewski. He was on the Contender Series, right?
Recently as well, yeah. One of the last few weeks.
So, I mean, shout out to him for taking the fight and for Brenner taking as well. It should be interesting. I'm excited. I'm kind of with you. I think just sit back, kind of enjoy it.
Yeah, Brenner's a shootbox guy as well. Shout out Willie.
What about
you? Brenner late. You have to play it.
Yeah, Brenner late. Okay.
Short notice for Kainan. Shoot the box guy. If it's full notice, I would take Kainan here on the money line, but short notice, I'm fine with taking the guy that was preparing for a war against Ribovic. So I have to take Brenner late, especially with the way he stopped the previous 2 guys.
Were you on Ribovic before?
No, I was on Brenner. I was on Brenner because I hate Ribovic's takedown defense.
Got it.
Fair. All right, next one. We got Ismail Bonfim versus Vince Pichel. Bonfim's minus 550 here. Pichel plus 385. Maybe I don't know if people are agreeing with me. I think this line's crazy. I think Pichel is a little live here. Plus 385. I mean, I think this line's very inflated. I'd be willing to take a little shot at Pichel here. Not like crazy, but I mean, plus 385. I just think that's I think Vince is a dog. I mean, I just think the line's a little too wide. What do you think, Lee?
If this was like 3 years ago, Vince Pichel, I think he's worth it. But in this day and age, like he's about to be like I think 41 years old. I don't know if it's worth it. I think Ismail has the tools to beat him basically any which way. I think the line is wide, like you said, Ev, but I think Bonfim wins here at a good rate.
Yeah, me too. I'm not a big. I think Pichel's washed. J Money and the boys says he's a janitor. Yeah, I mean, no disrespect to him. He's had a good career.
He's been around a long time.
And what he hasn't fought in what, a year and a half or so. So
Yeah, something like that.
I think this is kind of a squash spot that the UFC is setting up. I think they love the Bonfim brothers. They have them both on this card. And I mean, the other one has a much more difficult opponent, but I also think the other one's going to, not to spoil it.
I think the other one's a lot better as well.
Yeah.
I definitely hear what you guys are saying. He's coming off the loss to Saint Denis. They're trying to get him back on track.
And it's
all
in Brazil.
Points. Yeah, all fair points. For me, it's more the line than anything like obviously like you put a gun to my head and we're like, who's gonna win the fight?
Yeah,
I'd be like Bonfim, but I just think it being almost plus 400. I think it's a little
Vince
wide,
is a dog, but I think it's just kind of like also the age difference, the age gap's going to be huge.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I see the fight going.
I hear next fight basically a pick'em. Armin Petrosian versus Rodolfo Vieira.
All right, I love Vieira.
I do too. This line is
he's gonna sub
like Petrosian's a solid fighter. Like I don't like have any like ill will towards him. I just think Rodolfo's so well rounded.
Yeah.
I mean, we saw him like go pretty much strike for strike with like Curtis. Like who I think is a much better. Who also has phenomenal takedown defense. Yeah, I think VR is like more well rounded. I think he's better almost like everywhere.
Yeah.
What do you think, Lee?
I wanted this line to be so much better on Vieira because Rodolfo is one of my boys. I think I've bet on him basically every single fight in the UFC. He cashed me a big parlay with Borralho last time he fought. I think at pick'em price, I think I would bet Petrosian, and I think it's only because I've seen Petrosian win minutes better than Vieira, and his volume is so decent that I think it's going to stop Rodolfo from really going in too much and too fast. But I want Rodolfo to win. Like I would rather Rodolfo win here than Armin because I think Rodolfo's like a good prospect, but I wanted a much better line here. I wanted like Rodolfo like plus 150. I think at evens I would lean Armin.
All right, yeah. I see Vieira getting the sub. I think he's going to get the back. He's also, I agree with you, his striking is good, like definitely good enough to make it so if he doesn't get a takedown early or even late, he'll be fine. I'm just impressed by his overall work so far. That being said, I mean, like Brundage was he won the first round against him.
Yeah. Fair. Like I said, I like Vieira, but I actually got to get out in a few minutes, so we'll go. I'll let you guys for the last few, but go you do main event quick. So I want to talk about the main event. I apologize. I got to host Pick Central in a few minutes, but the boys will get over after I leave. Gelton Almeida is minus 525. Derek Lewis plus 375 in the main event. Derek Lewis coming off his reckless driving arrest.
Yeah.
Took the fight last minute.
Which he said that it wasn't him.
It wasn't him.
Yeah, it wasn't him.
It should be allegedly Derek Lewis.
Yeah, allegedly, yeah.
I apologize. I didn't mean to frame you. I wasn't there. I didn't see. I have no idea who was that big black man driving 130.
He said the guy had hair.
Yeah, so it can't
it can't be him.
Yeah, they're out to get him, of course. Derek Lewis was 375. I've been a Gelton guy from day one. His contender series, I thought he looked incredible. He was a dog in that fight, which is insane. I have just a weird vibe in this fight. I don't know.
Really?
I don't know. I don't know what it is. Like I said, I love Gelton. I've been yelling belt for this guy since I saw him in contender series. But I just have this weird, I don't know. I just have this weird feeling.
Interesting.
We haven't seen Almeida get hit. That's the one thing that scares me. In the UFC, he's been so dominant, and he's been just ragdolling these like bum heavyweights until recently. He's fought a few like decent ones, but even like
Rosenstrike's pretty good.
No, that's what I'm saying. Now like he's got the better ones like Rosenstrike, who he also ragdolled, very submitted him at the end of the first round. Just got the back, choked him out. If the Black Beast is ready to fight, we saw what he did to Blades. Like he does. The Black Beast has a little magic in him. He can pull victory from the jaws of defeat. He can land that big shot when you don't think he's going to land it. I don't know.
You're scaring me.
I'm scaring myself because I love Gelton. Obviously, I love the Black Beast.
Yeah.
I have this weird vibe.
I think
like I'm such a big fan of both. I like don't really care who wins, I think I might sprinkle the Black Beast by knockout.
I think that's a fair. If you want to bet this fight,
just to just for a little action, because I don't want to lay the big juice on Almeida, because I think just like Lewis just has that that nuke button that he can press at any moment. So I think I might just sprinkle the Black Beast by knockout, but I really have no whoever wins, God bless.
I see this as Almeida goes in there, flattens Derek Lewis.
I wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't mind that at all.
Yeah, I know. You wouldn't, but I guess you are right. This line's probably inflated a little bit. The only thing is, Lewis, prior to his last insane, he did the flying knee.
I threw some bullshit.
Yeah, through some. It felt like he was kind of not done, but he was gonna just kind of be a UFC Apex main event guy for the rest of his career, and just always have maybe a great moment here and there, and then get his money and continue to get his money. But that heavyweights, we've seen careers go up and down a lot, so this would be something. How about you, Lee?
Jailton's gonna win in one.
Yeah, in one. I see round one sub.
Yeah,
I know you're gonna say it's a high percentage. But the way that Jailton ran through a double on Jairzinho, and then throughout his entire career, being able to wrestle and grapple all these dudes, even though they're bigger than him. I think if Jailton just goes for a single leg, he's going to get to the back. He's going to flatten him out. He's going to choke him out. He doesn't even need to throw a strike. I think he can just do it to Derek Lewis. I think it's very easy, very simple. I don't know why this price is going down. This is Jailton was minus 525, and then he's minus 450.
Ev moved the line, bro. He just smoked the line. That's why it's going down, bro. We got to sharpen here, bro.
It's his big right hand. It's that big Lewis right hand. That uppercut from the depths of hell that turned Curtis Blades into a statue.
Hey, it could.
It's to me. It's just what Derek Lewis is here.
Yeah.
Is it collect the paycheck, Derek Lewis, or is it I want to beat this guy and be one fight away from a title shot?
I think it's a combination of both.
Which one is here? Because we've seen both on numerous occasions. We've seen both. So
we've seen both. Yeah.
We've seen numerous where he was there to get a paycheck, and we've seen ones where he was there to be the heavyweight champ. So I don't know what more times than not at this point in his career, I would imagine to be the one he took a fight last minute, there to get a nice paycheck.
Yeah, get some money. Yeah,
headline a good fight night card in front of fans in Brazil. But he looked great his last not even look. I'm saying physically he looked great.
Yeah.
In the fight, obviously he get the big knockout. That was great. But physically, he had the abs going. He looked good. So that was.
How much more do you think they're paying him for short notice now? I think it was said that he's getting 500 per fight now.
I would assume. I wouldn't be surprised if he got a 7-figure offer.
Yeah,
here.
Close to it. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. 750 to a
maybe
mil.
a million show, 500 win.
I was gonna say I could see even a short a late fight like this, just a flat rate. I gotta go back.
Yeah. I think probably I could see $1 million. Just from the perspective of this is they love Brazil, Sao Paulo, whatnot. I see this kind of, and Derek Lewis just kind of flying there to get a 7-figure check, then leave. But he'll go for it. I just think Jailton's gonna flatten him out, sub him round one.
What would you think for Jailton said that he's going to call out Cyril Gane when he wins?
Okay.
What do you think about that fight? I feel like Gane answered some questions against Spivak, even though Spivak literally did that was the worst Spivak I think I've ever seen.
I would be all over my guy Cyril Gane there. I would be. I think, sure, Almeida could definitely beat him. However, looking at that fight, I could see Cyril Gane just piece after Almeida fails on 2 or 3 takedowns. It's round 2. He's huffing and puffing. I think Gane, just because he's underrated because of 2 very just dumb decisions by him. 1, the takedown. John Jones is amazing, but then 2, he was so close to beating Ngannou, and now he's people don't think he's a bum, but I think he could really take out Almeida relatively easily. What would you line that?
I think Gone has to be like minus 200.
Yeah, and I would hope we would get like a stupid line, you know?
Yeah, like Gone like minus like 130.
Yeah, that's what I was. Yeah, and I hope that happens. I wonder if the UFC wants to protect Almeida a little bit.
Well, I don't think there's anybody for him to.
That's a good point. Who else would there be for him to take? I don't know at this point. I mean, I guess Spivak. We may have lost Lee. All right, I think we lost Lee. Quickly before we get out of here, I'm gonna give you my final two. Oh, you're back.
I'm back.
Okay, word.
This is the worst. I have the worst Wi-Fi setup of all time. If we do this again, I will make sure to do this at the school.
Okay, no, it's all good. Somebody in Quilly says in the chat, rebook the Blades fight for Almeida.
I don't hate that. I think it was I don't think it was like a long-term injury for Blades that took him out. I think it was his ankle or something.
Right.
But J Money, I think that Gone would do it to get like the next title shot, especially if it's against like a one-dimensional guy like he just fought against Spivak. Like I think it's like kind of easier that way for Gone to be like, oh, I get a title shot next if I beat like the guy that's coming up.
All that being said, I mean, whoever wins against, unless it's a phenomenal fight and they run it back, Aspinall and Pavlovich, as whoever wins that, I would assume Gane gets next, right?
Yeah, but then you're talking about it like that's going to be in like a year and a half, 2 years. Like if Gane Stipe is going to be like, or not Gane Stipe, Jones Stipe is going to be in 9 months from now. So
let's
say July. Then Pavlovich Aspinall is going to be like the interim. Then whoever wins the interim, long ass time until after that fight. So maybe it might be less. It depends if Jones wins and doesn't retire. I think that's the main part. But I think that's going to be a double retirement. So low key, it could be like 9 months to a year from now.
Yeah,
potentially. Like
I was thinking from the perspective of Jones. Because you also are relying on Jones retiring after that fight, and that's not 100%, at least not in my opinion. I mean, I know that's what a lot of people are thinking is going to happen. It's probably the higher chance. That being said, I have a weird feeling that we could see an Aspinall win and a decent call out, and then we could even see I don't know, the next fight be Aspinall Jones. I don't know. I have a weird feeling we don't see Stipe again.
I for sure we don't see Stipe again. If we see Jones again, I don't think it would be against Pavlovich if Pavlovich beats Aspinall.
Yeah, I don't think it would be Pavlovich either. I don't think that's very enticing to him, and I think Pavlovich is a tough matchup for him as well.
At least Aspinall's called him out before. Like you could have that, but
yeah. All right, I think we missed the Bonfim brother against Nicholas Dalby.
We're at the co-main, Rodrigo Nascimento fight, and then the Borrallo fight.
Oh, we haven't done Dalby Bonfim.
No.
So I like Bonfim by sub here. I am a little enticed by Dalby inside the distance, kind of Bonfim gassing late, and Dalby is just a fucking dog. But I think Bonfim, the strength or whatnot, I think he gets his back and submits him.
Bonfim's the real deal, but I like Gabriel Bonfim has shown like he's good, and he's good, but I don't think he's minus 600 in the UFC good against like Nicholas Dalby, who's 22-4. Like Dalby's good. I think Dalby is like a legitimate like top 25 guy. He's in
Yeah.
that like 20 to 30 range. Always. He will never be top 15, I don't think. He'll like but he makes it close against everybody. So
Yep.
like Bonfim's gonna need to like stick him in the first, sub him. Like he's gonna need to. If Bonfim doesn't put him out in the first, I think I'm live betting Dolby.
Yeah, I kind of see a Dolby, he always gets that little boost in the second and third. We saw it the last fight. I really like Dolby. I think he's like you said, a perennial top 25, top 20 fighter. He's never going to win a belt, but I didn't even realize it was up to minus 600 at this point. After that, we have Nascimento, the rematch against Dontel Mays, the rematch nobody asked for, but Rodrigo Nascimento. Do you think there's any value in Dontel Mays? Because I don't know, maybe Nascimento by decision.
Yeah, that's the way I would look at it. I don't think there's much value on. I don't think there's much value. Like Mace makes it close in fights, but like we already saw, like that. That's like talking about like Mace going against fighters that he hasn't gone against before, and like we've seen the fight play out already. And I don't know if there's like going to be much difference or anything that Mace can do differently that can really like affect the fight for his favor. If that makes sense. I don't think Mays can do anything special enough to get Nascimento off of his game.
Yeah, I just Nascimento from on the outside, just throwing left, right, left, right. I think it could. I mean, Dontel Mays is what I mean. I will probably never see him again in the UFC, but the fact he got just kind of pieced up by Hamdi is just one of the more pathetic performances in UFC history, at least in my opinion. But maybe we'll see him back off the juice in 2024. Or is that when his
It might be.
yeah,
It might be.
Hamdi, and then we have Chow Barallo against Magomedov or Ubas, right?
Uh, Abus.
Abus, not Ubas. Abus. A lot of love for Abus. I think I'm with him there. I do think Abus could really make this a fight. I am concerned if it gets into round 2, round 3, but we are pricing Abus here as if he got beat by a bum. I mean, the last time we saw him, Sean Strickland beat him. And then Sean Strickland went and dominated Izzy. That being said, Abus, there are some cardio concerns, but Strickland, if you have any cardio concerns, is going to just destroy you because his pressure is just so much. And this is Abus kind of, I know this is on short notice too, but plus 250 seems a bit wide.
Abus round 1 plus 800 is so wide.
Yes,
that is,
I agree with you there too, because Abus beat Sean Strickland in round 1, and he had some serious punches against the cage, if I remember correctly. And if that happens here, I mean, yeah, could I see Chow in the second round just submitting a completely tired Abus? Yeah, but I think round 1, you're right, 800. It seems like it's almost a must bet.
Yeah, I'm leaning that way too, but I took early. I took when props came out. I took Boralio round 3, 10-1. And then I retaped it, and I'm on the Avis side now for a money line, especially that the price is starting to go back up. I think plus 250 is like good for a shot that like the fighter will win round 1 most of the time. Borallo, striking defense not great, striking offense not great either. And Davis has shown like pretty good takedown defense. He was training at American Top Team, I think, for this one.
Yeah,
they have good takedown defense. It's just a cardio thing. I would rather bet Avis pre and round 1 pre, and then live bet Borallo and then Borallo late, sub late. I think there's a lot of ways you can go for this fight.
Yeah, there's so many options here, but I feel as if the value side, at least in my opinion right now, is Abus money line. But you're right. Chow sub 3, probably you can get a good price.
I think it's like 15-1 or like a little less, maybe like 12-1. Like I think that's solid against the guy. I think Moicano said it. Like Moicano on his pod or whatever said that Abus's jiu-jitsu is not good at all. Like his takedown tape, but like his pure jiu-jitsu isn't good. So I don't know. I bet Abus round 1, Cal round 3 so far, and then I need to determine whether I'm going to go Cal, like more on Cal late props, or then Abus money line or Abus inside the distance.
Yeah, do you think there's a chance? Like, what do you think the decision equity here is for Abus? Not very high.
None.
All right, so then
I really believe that could the Strickland fight be like a one-off thing, like where like he just saw like Strickland was never going to go away and kind of just wilted and quit. And will Cal do that same thing? Absolutely not. But the thing that like is priced accordingly with Cal every single time, or Kaio, is that he's a smart fighter, and the camp that he's from, Fighting Nerds, is a bunch of smart fighters, and they do.
We may have lost Lee in the midst of breaking down Chow. I guess you could say Chow to Lee. Is he back? You could say Chow to Lee. Up, you're back.
We're back.
All right. I was almost gonna say Chow to you while you were talking about
it set it up well. It set it up well. But
you're talking about Fighting Nerd, that camp.
Okay. Yeah. So like Fighting Nerds, like they're always smart. They always do the right thing in their camps and their fights. They do the smartest route. They do the easiest route. And it should be like just Kaio just goes and takes him down and submits him like it is every single fight. But I think he knows not to play around on the feet too much.
Yeah, I agree. It's really going to depend on the takedown defense from Abus, and if he can keep it on the feet in the first round. Yeah, I agree with you. I think I didn't want to get cute and not take him straight, I didn't want to get cute and not take him straight and be like, all right, there's a chance he wins by decision. But I agree with you as you were talking and as I asked you. I think we're on the same wavelength. Abus round 1 plus 800 is the best value, I think. Yeah, I'm just looking at his by decision. He is 6-1. I think that's about fair. I think it should even be a little bit higher. So I think if you're on Abus, take him inside the distance, round 1. And yeah, maybe he finds it in round 2, but I do think Abus is being undervalued, and this isn't a knock on Chow. I mean, so we'll see. Do you have a favorite play on this card, Lee?
Right now, I would money line wise, like a good money line would probably be Brenner at like a fair money line one. I need to go through props again, but I didn't have many props for this one. I had a bunch of parlays with 294 set up. My only 2 money line plays are Angela Hill and Diakisi, but I probably feel the most confident in Brenner as a pure money line, a pure okay money line.
Got it. I am a big fan of Vieira here, Rodolfo. Although you being on Petrosian and being a big Rodolfo head does give me a little bit of concern. I'll definitely be on Vieira. I really like him by sub. I also really like Bonfim by sub against Dalby. I really think he gets it done. That being said, I mean, I guess Dalby late. I may hedge it with Dalby late.
Double round 3. If it's like, I haven't looked at props for that fight. If it's like 20-1, it's like, I feel like you have to at some point.
I'm gonna pull it up right now. Round 3, Dalby wins. Wow, there's some 40-1s out there for.
I'm taking 40-1. I'm taking 40-1. I'll tell that right now in the pod. I will be taking Dalby round 3 plus 40-1.
There's some Dalby round 3 at 32-1 on like sports books that anybody can get access to. It's not like a weird sports book. It's a very, we can't say the name, but there's a lot of commercials for it. I'll just say that. So you could get 32-1 on Dalby round 3. And Dalby's going to fucking fight for it if he gets there, man.
Yeah.
So I actually think this card is going to be fun. Hopefully the Brazil fans bring a little bit more than the last fights that we saw in Brazil. That crowd kind of stunk. I mean, Glover retired in front of a fucking empty arena. Disgusting. A legend of the game. That's why Connecticut claims him more than Brazil does. So, but should be fun. Really interested to see a lot of these guys. I think there's a lot of pretty good prospects on here. There's some guys that have title upside. There's some guys that are more top 15 upside, but should be a fun card. Obviously, next weekend's going to be amazing. But thanks, Lee, for joining us. And we'll get you on again really soon. Better Wi-Fi, though.
I will be at Clemson inside a classroom. Listen, I will even announce my picks from like a teaching class if I have to.
There we go.
Maybe we can get
make all your students tune in.
Yeah, right. Extra credit.
Extra credit, but Haggerty tonight. There's one tonight which should be fun. There's some good fights tonight, and so good weekend of fights. We'll be back next week. We have some interviews lined up. Do you have a favorite play going in the next week already, Lee?
Rebecca. I like Rebecca. Money line. I think he's like minus 185 so far. I think he's the real deal, and I think that he's not gonna be at this price long. I think it's more being priced because Aliv can counter wrestle or has better cardio, but I think Rebecca's really solid. The inside leg kicks are so good. I was watching his last fight back against who did he fight? Loic Radzhabov. He fought last fight. I think that's a really good showing for him. I like two dogs that I like so far. I kind of like Slavakos against Sadikov. I don't think Sadikov has the offensive wrestling that we typically see against Slavakos that defeats him every single time. I think Nazim's a really good defensive wrestler, but he's not offensive enough for me. And then I like Kyung Ho Kong against John Castaneda at plus 120.
Do you have any interest in Bazooka or no?
No.
Okay.
I think Emmers is I got to see that fight in front of me in Jacksonville versus who's Jack Jenkins. Against Jack Jenkins. And Emmers 100% won that fight, especially on rewatch. That was a really bad decision.
Really bad decision. Jenkins was even surprised when he got the decision.
Yeah. I think Emmers is a really good fighter, a really underrated fighter. I think line's fine here, too. I'll leave this with you for one that's like under the radar. What do you think of Sabatini versus Lopez? Because I'm going back and forth on that one.
So I'm excited for that fight. Where's the line at right now?
Minus 135 Sabatini, plus 115 for Lopez.
I kind of think there's almost too much hype behind Lopez. Am I wrong?
I agree.
I think that fight, if let's say Lopez debuted on a fight night card that nobody watched and he had like not any. Also, I mean, his last fight, he did find that amazing sub, but I think
Sabatini is going to be able to offensively wrestle, and Lopez goes to his back a lot. And I think Sabatini has the grappling chops to just hang with him on the ground.
I completely agree. I think Sabatini almost. I like Sabatini there. I'm not the biggest Baby Shark fan. I do think Loopy will kind of run through her, but
I think Loopy has better hands than Ricci, and Ricci and Godinez, kind of their takedown defense and offense cancel each other.
yeah. So we'll get into all this next week. Should be very, very fun. Thanks again, Lee. Thanks to everyone in the chat listening. Make sure to subscribe on YouTube, subscribe on wherever you listen to podcasts, and a shout out to Monaco. Really appreciate you guys. Jack, when you getting down the Danbury and rolling with Glover and Poton once they invite me. So hopefully never. But yeah, shout out everybody. Thanks again.
Thanks, guys. Subscribe. Please subscribe if you haven't.